The series begins with a guy who wished to be in fairy tales, but it turns out to be a real battle for his true love. He must decide what to choose, his destined love or his life. Will he be able to get both? Let's watch. A girl named Shuan talks to a boy named Guion, who is playing with sand outside, and she asks him what he is doing. He tells her that today is his birthday, and he is making a cake out of sand. Shuyan replies that she is going to celebrate his birthday with him. Then they play together. She asks him to go get a candle from home to make a birthday wish. He doesn't go home, cause his father drinks a lot and will beat him if he sees him, but Shuyan insists that he go, and eventually he has to go. At home, the box accidentally falls out of his hands, and his father wakes up at the sound of his voice and goes to him. Then Shuyan helps the boy, and his father doesn't catch it in time. Then they continue to play happily, and Shuyan gives him his toy. She asks him what he wishes for, and he replies that he wants it to snow as soon as possible, because his mom told him that he will meet the people who love him when it snows on his birthday. Then it starts snowing. Guion continues to play with a smile on his face. It was their last meet since then. When Guion managed to find her home address, he found out that she and her family had moved away, and he has been dreaming of meeting her ever since. After several years, Guion attended Teddy's wedding, where he was hired to keep an eye on everything going on there. Meanwhile, Shuyan is finishing fantastic cake. Just before she leaves the kitchen, a child enters the room and messes up the cake and tears a piece off. As a result, she goes in search of someone to help make the cake. She runs into Guion, not realizing she asks him for help, and he goes with her, but neither of them wonder who they met. After the wedding, they go to a party together, and Guion becomes very fixated on her, noticing that she looks like a girl he knew as a child, and realizes that it is indeed her. So when she leaves, he goes for a walk with her under the pretense that he is going the same way. Noticing her standing there looking at the prizes, he offers to buy her one, but she refuses, saying that she will win the rabbit herself, but every time she makes it, she wins another toy, so there's no point in doing it. She informs him that her bus has arrived and she says goodbye and leaves. But he buys her a present and goes with her. Upon opening the toy, she doesn't find a rabbit, so she tells him that she knows how lucky she will be. Meanwhile, Guion draws a rabbit on the box and shows it to her with a smile on his face. When she sees it, she recognizes him as a boy she used to play with. She smiles and tells him that she never thought they would meet again. They share numbers and keep in touch with each other. She learns that he works as a game designer, and when she asks him why he chose that job, he tells her that he had no friends and games were his only entertainment, and he fell in love with them. Shuyan and Guion see each other often, and both are very happy about it. Until Guion confesses his feelings for her and tells her that he doesn't want to be just friends with her, Shuyan admits that she loves him too, and they become a cute couple. They live happily together in the same house, until one day Guion gets a phone call informing him that his father has passed away. When he goes to the funeral, a well-known man in the village tells him that his father took a large sum of money from him as an advance. Now that he has died, there is no one else to pay, and he asks him to return the money as soon as possible if he doesn't want to hurt himself. After this, Guion starts working more. Because of this, meetings became rare as he would come home late and go to work early. Sometime later, she was making breakfast and accidentally drops a plate on the floor, causing the guy to wake up. When he sees what time is, he accuses her of not waking up earlier and tells her he has an important job interview today. When she asks if he can give her a ride on the way to Olivia's house, he agrees, even though he's busy, and calls Teddy, his coworker, and asks her to postpone the meeting until he arrives. On the way, she asks him when he'll be taking a vacation so they can go out together, but he replies that he won't be free until New Year's Eve. When she tells him that today is his birthday and asks him how he wants to celebrate it, he replies that whatever she wants. So she suggests he come home from work and go to the movies together, choosing one or the other, but he's not interested and tells her whatever. This annoys her and makes her feel that he's no longer interested in her and doesn't love her as much as he used to, so she ignores him in front of Olivia and tells him she'll never ask him for a ride again. On the way to the meeting, he gets into an accident and the road is blocked. He is even more late for the meeting. When Olivia asks the guy when she asks him if he's okay and suggests they go out, she tells her that ever since his father died, he has been in this situation ignoring her. When Olivia tells her that he is doing this to give her a better life, she replies that she just wants her to be happy and for them to be okay. After Guion finishes the interview, Teddy approaches him and tells him that he and Olivia are going to get divorced because their relationship has come to an end and neither of them can stand each other. He tells her that she insults him and accuses him of cheating just because he went with his friend to her birthday party, and when her shoe's unstable, he tried to help her. Olivia, meanwhile, also complains to Guion about him, saying that she knows he hasn't cheated on her, but she's annoyed that he's been different. Teddy tells Guion that after she accused him of cheating, she went on live TV and howled, playing the victim and getting negative comments from her fans. Meanwhile, the boyfriend gets a call from the man, but he doesn't answer. When Teddy asks him if he's involved in something, the guy denies it, saying that the person he got the job from mistook him for someone else and assures him that he's fine. While Teddy may not be convinced, he is available at any time if he wants to talk to him about his problems. He contacts the author of a famous story called Yesterday Again, which is about a robot boy who can grant wishes to everyone but himself. He tells him that if the author agrees to turn the story into a game, they will get an unbelievable success. At the same time, the writer sends them a message that he agrees. Guion decides to go. He comes to get his agreement to turn the story into a game. When Guion asks him why he is leaving the story open, he speaks to him in riddles and obscure words, and tells him that even though wishes are granted in some things, they cannot be changed. After Guion gives his consent and goes back to work, the manager simplifies the situation and prepares a surprise. When Guion asks him to celebrate his birthday with his girlfriend, he refuses, saying that they live in the same house and can celebrate anytime they want, but a company party won't fix that. In the end, Guion has to go to the party with them, after which he talks to Teddy and tells him that the author has told him a lot of things he didn't even understand. Meanwhile, Shuan calls him to see when he will be back, but before he can answer, Teddy snatches the phone from him and tells him that they are at a hotel and that he has booked Uber for her to go to a party with them. After she hangs up, she gets a call from an unfamiliar number, and the caller informs her that he is from a debt agency and that her boyfriend owes them a large sum of money. Guion's manager tells him that unfortunately, he can't help him with the advance he is asking for because he has already taken the advance. She comes and asks him why he needs an advance, even though they have the money to open a bakery, and asks him to let her know if he has any problems because she has the right to know. Also, she wants to support him anyway. When he refuses to let her know, she gets angry with him and says that he is the one who makes her stay away from him and not feel safe with him. Eventually, Guion has no way but to confess the truth to her. He tells her that his father had debts, and the people he owed money made him, Guion, pay them back. When she asks him why he didn't take some of the money they paid for the bakery and pay it back, he tells her that it was her hard-worked, earned money, and he has no right to do that. He tells her that he can't give her the wedding she wants, so they better break up. She tells him that he is selfish, and that she has no problem living with him because she loves him, but at the first sign of trouble, he ignores her. When he goes after her and tries to apologize, suddenly a wall falls on her, and in that instant, she loses her life. Back home, Guion looks at their pictures and reminisces about them, saddened and regretting everything. He realizes that she baked him a cake for his birthday, saying he's the only who makes her happy every day, and because of him, she wakes up every day. Then she asks him to make a wish, so he lights a candle and wishes to get back her to life. When he wakes up the next day, he realizes that it was all just a dream, and that it's still his birthday, and hugs her joyfully. But when they go out to take her to Olivia's house, everything he saw in the dream happens again. And when he goes to work, Teddy tells him about the author of the story, and says that he tried to meet him. But he refused to deal with him and asked him to go to his place. Guion goes to him and tells him about the dream, but he protests and says that it wasn't a dream, it was reality, but it came back because he wished it. He tells him that fate will prevail in the end. When Guion asks him if that means Shuan will die again, he refuses to answer. After Guion says he doesn't have time to express his feelings to her, so Guion takes time off work and goes to Olivia's house telling her that he's taking the day off and will show her the house she wants to buy and turn it into a bakery. Shuan is delighted by his words, and they happily go to look at the house, after which they go to dinner together. At dinner, her mom calls her and accuses her of lying to her, but she happens to know from a video Olivia posted on her page that she's working as a pastry chef, not in what she studied for. Guion then suggests they talk and explains to her that she's working as a chef because she loves it, and if she did something else, she wouldn't be happy. But she refuses, telling him that she knows her mother well and realizes that her mother won't understand her. When they go to pick up the car from the garage, they see the father beating his son because he doesn't want to live with his mother. Upon seeing Shuan, the child tries to call for help. When the father tries to pick him up, he accidentally hits Shuan on the head, causing Guion to become enraged. He fights with him, and because of this, he got arrested. The policeman refuses to let him out until the child's father finally gives his statement. When Guion calls Shuan, he realizes that she has been in an accident. And again that happened. Along the way, he remembers the author telling him that the same thing happened to his girlfriend, and he goes back in time. He tells him that he has to use every second of his life to express his love for Shuan. When he arrives, he realizes that she is already not in this world. He returns home devastated and lights the last candle in the box, wishing for her to return. Luckily, when he wakes up the next day, he looks at her with love. He then asks her to stay out of the house during the day. He will deliver Olivia's orders and take the day off from his job. She refuses and tells him that it won't do anything because Olivia is going to advertise on her page and she has to be there. He ends up having taken her there. When he arrives at Olivia's house, he tells her to take care of herself and not to go outside until he picks her up and goes to meet Teddy. When he returns, he shows Olivia a videotape of Teddy with a big mustache and tells her that he loves her, that she is special to him in every way, and that he doesn't want to break up with her. When Olivia hears his words, she is touched and tells Guion that she knows he loves her and has no intention of breaking up with him. After leaving Olivia's house, he decides to visit her mother and inform her that he is working as a chef and assures her that he will be with her and work things out. And finally, Mother is happy with that. No sooner do they reach home than her mother calls her and repeats the same thing she said the day before. Shuan doesn't want to go inside the house, but Guion assures her that everything will be fine and comes over to apologize to her mother. He tells her that Shuan was deceiving her because she was afraid she wouldn't agree and wouldn't be able to fulfill her dream. Shuan gives her the cake she made and asks her to taste it, and she realizes that she is a good cook and will succeed in her job. After tasting the cake, she is amazed by its sweet taste. When Shuan leaves with Guion, she thanks him for his support and says that without him, she wouldn't have been able to convince her mom. He tells her to be brave. He then takes her to his father's house and confesses that he sold it because before his father died, he became an investor in a project, but he was cheated and had a lot of debts, so he sold the house and paid off the debts. He explains to her that his father wasn't interested in his opinion about the project because they hadn't spoken to each other in a long time. He then reminds her of the box of candles she had at home and tells her that the candles were the last thing his mother did before she died. He tells her that his mother died on his birthday, after which his father started drinking heavily because of his grief and beat him constantly while he was unconscious. When he woke up, he would apologize and promise that what happened would not happen again. When he was 7 years old, she refused to celebrate his birthday with him, and he went to celebrate alone outside. She joined him, and it was the happiest event of his life. Afterward, he took her to the beach and told her that he has a dream, and every time he lights a candle in that dream, he lived the same day again. She asks her to wait while he talks to the manager, but when he leaves, Olivia grabs her hand and tells her he's taking her to a place she likes. They go to a place where a game is being played, and the girl, left alone, disappears. Guion presents her with flowers and tells her how lucky he is to have met her again at Olivia and Teddy's wedding. He thanks her for always being tolerant and kind to him despite his neglect of her. He told her that he didn't know what the future held, but he was sure that he would always love her. Olivia stood nearby watching all of this and was very touched. Teddy apologizes to her and tells her that he still loves her, and she confesses to him that she still loves him and has no intention of breaking up with him. On the way home with Guion, she tells him she wants a simple wedding, and after they open a bakery, move into a house bigger than their apartment, and get a pet. She thanks him, touched that he took care of her today and treated her with kindness, even though it was his birthday. As she was about to cross the road, she was about to be hit by a car, but he saved her at the last moment as a second car was approaching them. He stood in front of her and protected her. Her mother was by her side in the hospital afterward, and when she asked, she was devastated and said he sacrificed his life to save her. When Mom and Dad tried to comfort her, she refused to talk and told them to go home. She recalls the day she heard Guion talking to Olivia and asking her to make her chocolate milk when she was upset. She flips out and can't believe what happened. Teddy comes in and tells her that he knows she is sad, but she needs to know the reason for Guion's death. He tells her all about the author and says that she should have died, but Guion went back in time 3 times to save her with the candles his mother gave him. Upon realizing this, horrified, she asks him to give her the author's address. He gives. When she gets there, the door is opened by an elderly woman who apologizes and says she probably has the wrong address. Before she leaves, she turns to her and says that this is the address she came to and that she didn't get it wrong. She asks her to come in, says she knows where she came from, and introduces her as the author's wife. Unfortunately, the end of the story can't be changed because fate doesn't change. The woman tells her that the same thing happened to her and her husband had to agree with the destiny to save her. The woman apologizes and tells her that she should have saved him, but he had to also leave this world and he did it instead her, which means fate has changed, and she is alive instead of him. Sometime later, she apologizes and tells her that his mother's wax is missing, and there's no way she can go back in time because wax is the only way to go back in time. Shuan leaves, devastated, but as she leaves, she realizes that she saw a candle similar to the one in his father's house. She quickly goes there and enters the house, despite the refusal of the workers, keeps looking for the candle until she finally finds it, and leaves the place where they met as children, and wishes that he would go back to a life without having met and loved each other. The story doesn't change. The next day, she wakes up to a call from Olivia, who tells her to hurry up and get ready for the wedding and imagines she's transported to 2018. When she arrives and asks Teddy about Guion, he tells her his plane was delayed, and when he asks her how she knows him, she replies that she doesn't, then leaves and walks away, knowing that her wish has come true and they will never see each other again. The next day, she goes to work, but a coworker informs her that he has a meeting, and she realizes that her wish has come true and they will never meet again. She then goes to all the places she was with him on the day of the incident and thinks about their memories together. Even though she wants to see him and tries many ways, she eventually changes her mind and decides to learn to live alone because she is afraid that if they meet, one of them will die. She then decides to confess to her mother that she works as a chef before she finds out. She decides to buy the house she dreamed of turning into a bakery and goes to see Guion's father, who is still alive, and learns that the project he is investing in is a scam. She manages to mend Olivia and Teddy's relationship. Sometime later, Guion accidentally walks into her bakery to order a brownie and doesn't recognize her. The first time she sees him, she snaps and stays away from him. At this time, Guion realizes that the rabbit she gave him as a gift is the same rabbit he asked her for as a child. He asks her if the rabbit is a duck, and she laughs because he thinks it is a duck. She tells him it is a rabbit. It means her plan worked out, because they had a true love and they live a happy life together. Thank you again for your likes and subscriptions. See you very soon.